Good morning, this is Cindy Coots. Today I'm going to show you how to halfway dry emboss a card front. I already have it set up just for the sake of time, and then I'll kind of work backwards a little bit. I have my paper down here, as you can see, and like I said, I'll go through that later. But I don't want this underneath my designer paper, underneath my designer paper embossed, because I don't want it raised. So what I'm going to do is just dry emboss the top of this here. And I already have it all lined up in my folder the way that I want it to be. And what you do is, this is so awkward because it's really hard for you to see. And if I zoom in, it'll be even harder. What you want to do is, let's see, there we go. But I'm going to move it back. Put it at the very, very, very end of your plate here, so that way when you roll it on through, you know exactly where to stop. And I have one tab up, and I'm going to pull this back just so it's a little bit easier on me. Maybe not. So I'm just going to shove my plate on top there, the other one. And like I said, this is very awkward. And you don't need to put it down all the way, to tell you the truth. Just over on top of the folder to make sure it goes through. So I'm going to work at the side here, and I'm going to crank this on through. And I'm going to know exactly where to stop when I see my arrow on the embossing folder over here, which you can't see, disappear. And you can feel it in your Big Shot too when it starts to get a little bit thicker and it's harder to crank through. That's when you know to stop as well. So I'm going to pull that back out and try and clean up here a little bit and get rid of this mess. And here we go. And as you can tell, I just got the top dry embossed. So I think that turned out pretty cool. I really like that elegant bouquet folder just because I wanted something, my image is going to go over here, and I needed a little bit something over here. What I did was I started out with an early espresso base, and I use this great Comfort Cafe designer paper, and I got a piece of everything that's in here for you. And there's just some great chevron patterns. It's kind of on the masculine side, but mixed with some feminine stuff as well. Love that too. So there's like a little bit of craft in here as well. So I just really like these colors. I think this one's going to be a favorite of mine, and this kind of looks like 3D hexagons a little bit depending on how you turn the paper. So what I've done is I've already cut a piece of my cardstock here. This is just a tad under 2 inches. Better zoom in. This is just a tad of 2 inches. And with this little chevron pattern up there, what I did was, let me grab it so I can show you real quick, was I cut off just this very edge right here, and I used one full length, or just whatever, one full width, so it wasn't mixed up or anything. And since these two are very busy, then I flipped over the page and cut a small strip to break it up a little bit. Then I went ahead and die cut a couple butterflies using the beautiful butterflies die cut. And with this bottom one, you can see this crease I have in here. But how you get it this big, because it only shows up like this with one wing, is that you fold a piece of cardstock in half. There you go. You fold a piece of cardstock in half, and at the crease of the cardstock you put right here. And then you run it through your Big Shot machine, and it opens up to the entire butterfly. You may have to snip a little end here and there if you don't get perfect placement, but I just folded it in half and put a little piece of tape here to keep it straight. Then for my stamp set, I'm using this really cute Forever With You. And I have another video coming up as far as how to get perfect placement of your labels on here, and so they don't cut, because check this out. anyhow, I want this card. So I went ahead and just stamped on this image here onto my butterflies, and I cut the second largest one and it comes out like this. And this is Cajun Craze. And then for my sentiment, I went ahead and used some Stampin' markers to go ahead and color that in. When you're using markers to color in your sentiments, you want to start working from the middle and go on out. Because if this is all done and then you're trying to color in the middle, it'll smear and everything like that. And you can see a little bit where when I was colored in my blue, it kind of contaminated my Summer Starlight, I will never get that name right, a little bit. After it does that, you are going to have to scribble it out on your marker because it will stay. So I just went ahead and colored all this in with a couple new in colors and cut it out. I wish they had a die cut for this. Maybe that will come. So now to go ahead and assemble a card, first thing I'm going to do is just grab some twine and tie it around here a couple times, and then I'm going to tie a knot. Maybe I'll zoom in some more, or out. And tie it in a knot at the very top, so I have some antennas. And you've got a little bit of wiggle room too if it accidentally ends up in the middle. And since you're not going to be able to see this from the other butterfly, I'm just going to go ahead and do a double knot. And I'm going to leave that for now until I get everything positioned the way that I want it to. And I'm just going to go ahead and put some, I'm debating, of how much dimension I want here, because I'm going to build that up. Oh, let's just go for it. I'm going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back. And figure out a good placement for this. I guess I better pile everything on too. And make sure that your strings are still sticking out for your antenna or your twine. And I'm going to add some more dimensionals on the back of this butterfly here. I'm so proud of myself for not doing adhesive overkill. Now for that sentiment I cut out, since this butterfly is at an angle, I'm kind of having a hard time figuring out if I want to put it straight like this, but since the butterfly is at an angle, or if I want to go like that. And I think I'm going to put it straight. It doesn't look right at an angle. Now since these are getting just a little bit on the wonky side, they're a little bit too far spread out for my personal taste. I am going to grab a dimensional. I'm going to put it on top, and you won't be able to see it because I'll have my sentiment covering it. Like that. And I might need two, I do, just because I built up upon it. So I'm going to go ahead and add another one. Get my card straightened out. And figure out where to put the other dimensionals so everything's straight. Okay, that goes on top. This one I'm going to put pretty high up because I'm not exactly sure where that's going to end up. So I'm going to get everything lined up and then put my sentiment down. And there you go. I'm just going to snip off this twine real quick from my antenna. And I hope it really makes sense. I think it does. So there we have a nice, cute, fun, simple, easy card. It really doesn't take that long at all to go ahead and die cut everything out in just a couple cuts of paper and coloring this in. One thing I forgot to tell you was that when you do color stamps, let me grab a marker real quick. Let's pretend this is a stamp here. Actually, this is a big one. Okay, that's kind of like a sticky block. When you do color your stamps, they say to go ahead and do it like this at an angle so you don't dull the tip of your marker, but do it down because you get better coverage that way. Especially with the sentiment. When you're doing something like this, you just go any way that you want and you'll get good coverage, but when you're doing a sentiment to get all the words, you really do want to go down. If you go across, you're going to miss some places, so I always go down, and I found that I just have better results that way. So I hope that you got something out of this video. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you the next time. Have a good day. Bye.